All right. Well, welcome to the last episode of our 2 to 4 units underwriting guidelines. And if you are a veteran that is eligible for your VA home loan benefits, this one is for you. We're going to talk about house hacking if you're a veteran, which is buying 2 to 4 unit property. Why would we do this? Well, when we buy a 2 to 4 unit property, you can live in one of the units and you can rent out the other units. And that's going to help you not only pay your mortgage, but that could help you qualify for the loan itself. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, the reason why I did a separate video for Fannie Mae conventional underwriting guidelines. I did a separate video for Freddie Mac conventional underwriting guidelines. And I did a separate video for FHA underwriting guidelines, FHA government insured underwriting guidelines, because each of these loan programs is a little bit different. They allow some things, there's some things that they don't allow. Now, in order to qualify for the VA home loan, you have to be a veteran and meet the eligibility requirements to be able to use this benefit for having served in the armed forces or the National Guard, or something like that. We're not going through the requirements of that today. But if you don't meet the requirements to qualify for a VA home loan, you're going to look at FHA, Fannie Mae, or Freddie Mac. So there are different loan program types. There are different loan to value and down payment requirements for all these loan programs. There are different credit score requirements. Whether you can use a non-occupant co-borrower. That's somebody who's on the loan. They're going to contribute their income and their assets, their reserves, and everything to help you qualify for the loan. Reserve requirements, how much money you have to have left over in the bank after you buy the property. Whether you can have an accessory dwelling unit, that's a detached unit separate from so usually a duplex, you think of a duplex as two houses connected. You share a wall. Same with a triplex or a fourplex. There are walls that are being shared. An accessory dwelling unit is typically a detached unit. Maybe it's a tiny home, maybe an 800 or 900 square foot home with a little kitchenette and things like that in it. That's an accessory dwelling unit, and not all programs allow that. And then finally, using the rents to qualify. With the VA loan program types, you can use it for a new home purchase. So if you're buying a new home, you can do it with a construction to permanent loan. So it's your new construction and you're going to live in it. And then energy efficient mortgages, which also allow you to include the costs of energy efficient appliances. Now, the maximum loan to value is 100%. So with the VA loan, there's no down payment requirement. So whether you're doing a purchase loan of an existing home, a construction loan that you're building the property on land that you own, and then you're going to do a permanent VA loan after the construction is done, or whether you do an energy efficient mortgage, you can do 100% financing. The minimum credit score, it's going to be the automated underwriting approval, because the VA does not have a credit score requirement. So you'll run into companies out there that say that they have a minimum credit score. Some of these online lenders, these internet lenders, or you see commercials on TV all the time for different lenders that specialize in VA loans. Well, they only specialize in really easy VA loans, and they're not going to allow you to get a VA loan with them if you don't have like a perfect credit score and things like that. So I want you to know that VA does not have a credit score requirement. So if a company is telling you your credit score is not high enough, you just need to find a better lender that doesn't have overlays, that doesn't put restrictions on whether veterans get access to their benefits or not. Non-occupant co-borrower, it is not permitted. You cannot have somebody who is not that you're not married to, that's not going to live in the home. They cannot go on the application if you're buying 2 to 4 unit property. The reserve requirements, there's going to be 6 months reserves for the subject property. That is a little bit higher than a lot of the other places. But again, your automated underwriting system is going to determine that, but VA is going to require that you have reserve. If you have reserves, and that's mostly because there's no down payment. At least those other loan programs, you're putting a down payment. You don't need as many reserves because you've got some equity in there. VA is going to be a little bit more cautious when you're buying 2 to 4 units, and they're going to require that you have reserves. The additional dwelling unit. So the accessory dwelling units, VA does not mention that in their guidelines. So normally what happens in those situations is an underwriter, so it's up to underwriter discretion. So it's whatever the lender determines whether that's an additional risk or not. The VA doesn't care. So the VA doesn't care whether you do or not, but the lender will, and the underwriter will use their discretion. A lot of times in these situations where a certain lending program doesn't, when they don't offer, when they don't, where they're quiet on a guideline, a lot of times what an underwriter will do is they'll go to like another government program like FHA, and they'll follow FHA's guidelines. So that's what happens. That's what happens quite often. Actually, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than most guidelines. So can you use the rents to qualify? You can use a percentage of the rents. It's usually 75% of the rents for the units that you're not going to live in. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can determine what that rent is going to be. If there's somebody already living in the property and they have a lease that's not going to expire until after you purchase the home, the appraiser is going to use those rents from that rental agreement, and you're going to be able to use 75% of that. If people are not living in the property, and you don't have an enforceable lease that extends beyond after you purchase the property, then the appraiser is going to use what's called a rental survey, and they're going to determine what those units would rent for, and then you can use 75% of those rents to qualify. So it's really, really important, especially with the VA loan. So the VA loan does not have as hard and fast of guidelines and rules as the other lending programs like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac conventional or FHA or even USDA. So it's important that you work with an experienced mortgage professional that's going to look up the guidelines. They're going to call the RLC, the Regional Loan Center. They're going to get advice from the VA, and they're going to try to figure out how to get you into this property. That's what a professional loan officer is going to do. These call center lenders, if you don't fit into their box of how they think you should qualify, if you don't have perfect credit or whatever, they're going to tell you no. That's why it's important that you understand that there are differences between these programs, and there are definitely differences between lenders. Lenders that care, lenders that specialize in VA loans, they understand the flexibilities, and then there's lenders that don't, and they're going to just try to get the loan because they need the business, and that's not good for you. So this is why we built Find My Way Home. We are here to educate and empower you to help you make more informed decisions. We are also a network of mortgage professionals. So you can get great advice about these loan programs and these differences on our website. But most importantly, we can connect you with a mortgage professional that we know, like, and trust that can help you. And there's a few ways to do that. You can scroll down to the bottom and you'll see the state directory. If you're on an article, you can see who the author of the article is, and you'll see who loan officers who are licensed near you. What I also recommend is when you're on our website, the other option is you can simply complete a form that just tells us what your main question or concern is, and we're going to match you with a loan officer that specializes in what your question is, that is licensed in your state, that can help. The other thing I want you to look out for is we have a free digital wallet powered by FinLocker. It's called the Find My Way Home app. It allows you to check your credit for free and monitor your credit. It allows you to establish budgets. It allows you to determine if your credit's not perfect. There's different scoring models on there that you can experiment to see if I do this with my credit, how much will my score raise? Whether you're trying to buy in, say, 3, 6, 9, 12, or 18 months, you can set up budgets and you can set up customer journeys for a home buyer journey, and it'll walk you through setting up your budget and all the requirements that you need. And that's 100% free. It's 100% private. And I encourage you to take advantage of that. You can go both on the web or on the mobile phone. You can get more information about that on the website. So I hope this was helpful. If you're using this strategy, congratulations. This is a really, really smart strategy to help you buy real estate, build generational wealth, and quite frankly, convert that into a investment property in the future. And you go and buy a new and owner occupied property. And now you're starting to build that passive real estate income because you started off buying owner occupied units. So congratulations. Really, really smart strategy. If you have any questions, you can ask them below. You can go to the website. We're here to help you find your way home. So I hope this was helpful. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.